Manhattan is well known for its affluence. However, an enclave around 57th Street known as Billionaire's Row has become a symbol of the city's growing wealth. This stretch of super luxury towering buildings, which runs from Columbus Circle to around Park Avenue, has condensed inconceivable wealth in one location. Billionaire's Row in New York City has become a point of interest, astonishment, and serious attention. Who wouldn't desire a sneak peek inside its dazzling towers? It's difficult to grasp the magnitude of $1 billion. 1 million seconds, for example, equals around 12 days, whereas 1 billion seconds equals 31 years. Grossing more than $1 billion is like putting the full planet in your pocket for the ultra-wealthy. People like that naturally want to live on 57th Street since it offers fantastic views of Central Park and greater accessibility to the railway station with a slew of sandwich restaurants. This is where Billionaire's Row's towers come in. Billionaire's Row is made up of 8 completed buildings, each more expensive than the previous. Billionaire's Row in New York City ushered forth a new era of ultra-slim skyscrapers. The skyscrapers are now a spectacular show of wealth, prestige, and technical firsts. They are, however, somewhat vacant. Nevertheless, as a non-billionaire, finding an inexpensive flat in the city might be practically difficult. In the months leading up to the 2014 construction of 157, a mixed-use super-tall skyscraper at 157 West 57th Street, Billionaire's Row was informally dubbed. The address is 57th Street. A super-tall structure is one that stands more than 1,000 feet tall. However, the vicinity already contained other expensive apartments, such as the Deutsche Bank Center, previously the Time Warner Center. Some of the most opulent residences in the world may be seen just south of Central Park. Billionaire's Row has no formal entrances, but the moniker alludes to a group of buildings on and around West 57th Street. For years, structures have been gradually becoming significantly taller. However, Billionaire's Row has given birth to an altogether fresh type of skyscraper, the ultra-slim apartment tower. Space is limited in Manhattan, so if you want to construct something big, you'll have to build higher. Billionaire's Row entrepreneurs spend years collecting the air rights for the properties surrounding their lots in terms of developing the title properties they'd acquired with structures tall enough just to give Central Park vistas. Along with the glitz and flair, these advancements have produced a fair amount of debate. While tenants of these massive towers enjoy breathtaking vistas of Central Park, New Yorkers living outside of them are not so fortunate. The structures block ground-level light, producing deep shadows across the park. The skyline of Midtown and the terrain below have been irreversibly transformed by this assemblage of cloud-grazing structures. Not everyone is enamored with a new style, which is unsurprising. The city's plan to establish a homeless shelter on 58th Street, directly behind 157, sparked perhaps the most shocking local dispute in 2018. The approved homeless shelter, which will be renovated from a former hotel, will include 140 beds. Residents in the neighborhood, both rich and middle, were outraged by the revelation. A building is considered slender in New York if it has a slenderness ratio of 1:7. The towering on Billionaire's Row, on the other hand, goes well beyond that. 157 was one of the first groups to finish in 2014. With a 1:8 ratio. Then there was 432 Park Avenue, which had a 1:15 ratio. From then, 53 West 53rd Street, 111 West 57th Street, and Central Park Tower all entered the pantheon of Manhattan's ultra-slim skyscrapers. 111 West 57th Street is the thinnest of the bunch today. The 85-story structure is the world's thinnest skyscraper, measuring only 18 meters wide, but rising to 435 meters in height. This corresponds to a width-to-height ratio of 1:24. Numerous properties on Billionaire's Row are situated on Central Park South, which is one of the most valuable suburban streets in the world, with an average property price of $9.8 million. Only the wealthiest of the wealthy may live here, such as venture capitalist Ken Griffin, who paid $238 million for an apartment. This was the greatest real estate transaction in U.S. history, and it was for an apartment. Griffin is probably happy with investing so much on a city condo because he most certainly owns other residences. This is a recurrent topic in ultra-high-end property investment. Even though a unit has been acquired, it does not necessarily indicate it is filled. Shell corporations are frequently used by foreign enterprises and their founders to purchase luxury real estate in New York in order to keep their funds out of the hands of the government. Furthermore, these apartments could be used simply as vacation houses, storage, or even pet-only apartments. Again, because the pet apartment market is small, there isn't much demand for the actual apartments. We know that the super rich can afford identical mansions in more varied places because of the tiny number of billion-dollar corporations. America's attitude toward billionaires have deteriorated throughout the years. Many people loathe high-rises even though they threw overhanging shadows over Central Park, which is odd, given that one of these building-selling attractions is the park view. Other arguments, such as the one for the critically needed modest housing in the city, are more robust. In 2018, for example, a plan to turn a former hotel on 58th Street into a local shelter was granted. This refuge would indeed be located just behind 157, one of Billionaire's Row's rises. Billionaire's Row is a haven for the super wealthy. These structures aren't going somewhere, whether you like them or not. These luxury flats will be chomping at the bit for you if you win the jackpot. Keep coming up with a billion-dollar concept or know how to open a lock while remaining silent. They come with a lot of baggage, a small number of neighbors, and spectacular vistas. It's up to you to decide if the seeking price is reasonable.